grains to approximately 50 million farmers and households, respectively, in the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT. And joining us on the News Hour tonight to discuss the statements by the presidency on the review of the 8,000 naira conditional cash transfer to 12 million low-income families and other retirement or pertinent issues, such as the increase in the petroleum prices to over 600 naira, is a public affairs analyst and human rights advocate, Franklin Isong. You're welcome to the News Hour.
Yeah, good to be with you.
Just to make it clear, Franklin Isong is the Director, Center for Human Rights and Accountability Network, Akwa Ibom State, CHRAN. You're welcome once again to the program. Now let's get to let's get to issues in the news. So you've had this matter, the 8,000 naira per household for 12 million households palliative measure that will run for 6 months. It's an initiative of the immediate past administration, but up till today, we've had an update. It has been suspended or to be reviewed. What is your take on the directive for that review? Let's start off from there.
I think there was no need for such an adventure because Nigerians are dying in abject poverty. The country cannot afford to be taking loans to be feeding its citizens. When the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, embarked on this attempt to secure the World Bank grant of $800 million, which is equivalent to 631 billion, 600 million naira. We were not happy with it because of the fact that the president then told us that the intention of the loan is to be used to feed Nigerians for the sake of the subsidy removal. And we had said subsidy is a scam. So you cannot come to take loan to feed Nigerians for 6 months. So that was the controversy that surrounded the exercise, and we objected it. The president, forwarded the bill to the National Assembly. We opposed it, and as God will have it, the president of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, forwarded the proposal of the president to the Senate Committee on the loans and the finance, and the committee delayed until the government winded up, and then the then president left. So coming on board by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we had thought that the president would have been able to consult widely and then be able to look at positive ways that such funds could be used. Now, why are we opposing the fact that you cannot take loans to feed Nigerians? And come to think of it, you are giving 12 million households a paltry sum of 8,000 naira per month.
And some people are asking, what can that do to an average family?
Break it down. You will see that each person will be getting 227 naira per day. That is what it simply means. I mean,
and that cannot
transport fare for you to even pay transport. What do you mean by square meal? I mean, to pay transport right now, a liter of fuel has gone up to as high as, call it 700 naira. Some is 630 naira, and you are giving someone 226 naira. It doesn't really work. And so what we had advised, and what we are still advising President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is to use these funds to plug it back to the society. How? Fix our roads, fix the power sector, let our local refineries begin to refine, support the modular refineries. You just mentioned the issue of the increase in pump price. If you are increasing pump price, if you had completely hands off, you have removed subsidy, why do we still need to have the NNPC coming to tell us market forces? Who is market forces? Nigeria did not vote for market forces.
We'll come to the matter. We'll come to the matter of
the fuel subsidy.
Yes, the subsidy and the price hike.
That is the point.
Let's stay on the palliative.
So the palliative of Mr. President is of no consequence. We don't want it. We don't want the palliative. What we need is that let the fund be used to revitalize our industries, plug back to society, use it and fight insecurity. Let farmers be able to go to farm. Let traders have the road to be able to transport their goods. Let us have power supply, constant. Right here, you are running your station with diesel. How much is diesel? and this is killing the local, the private sector economy, and we are operating a petrodollar economy, and here everything revolves around petroleum. So that is what we are saying. So we are saying that there is no need for palliative. You cannot feed us for 6 months. After 6 months, what happens?
So talking about farmers, the president has ordered the immediate release of fertilizers and grains to approximately 50 million farmers and households in all the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. The question is, what impact would this make on the overall situation, considering the fact that you already spoken to it, but perhaps you give more details on that, considering the fact that Nigeria and farming agriculture is currently facing a rise in insecurity? What will the release of fertilizers and grains do to assuage the current food insecurity that Nigeria is currently facing?
Yeah, I must give it to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He has declared a state of emergency in food security. We will believe that he will be able to handle the issue of insecurity, the farmer-header clashes, and then when this is done, it will be able to go a long way. Now, ordering that fertilizer be released to farmers is also a welcome development, but we want to see more. Because if you have sufficient food, this insecurity will reduce. Because even crime rate is becoming higher. Inflation rate today is 22.75% as against what we used to have. Every food item you see today is high. Today, to cook a pail of tomato stew, you are spending nothing less than 20,000 naira. That's just it. To cook a pot of a sizable pot of afang soup, you need to spend nothing less than 30,000 naira. How much is goat? Pot. What I mean, you can call it 2 pair.
Okay.
Like 2 pair.
That's
2
for commercial use.
Both private. I mean, a moderate. Now, let me use a moderate pot of afang soup.
That could take a family of five.
Yes.
Or maybe like 3 days.
3 days is even much.
Okay.
I'm telling you, because goat meat today is very high. The price of goat meat is high. If you are going for chicken, is high. If you are going for fish, is high. Going for the crops like tomato, like onions, like pepper, all this, and the crayfish, all these are high.
And there is a ban on heightened skin, pomo, which Nigeria,
of course,
because of anthrax.
And then you go to the sea. The pirates don't allow the fishermen to go there to come out with their cash.
Goods, yeah.
So that is the point. So today, Nigeria, we are facing scarcity of food because of several factors, not only insecurity. Because that we had flood that came and destroyed. Even currently, a little rainfall, you will have flood. Climate change is also causing food insecurity. So there is so much on the table of Mr. President. So sharing that peanut of 227 naira per day to someone for us doesn't really go after fertilizer. So what he needs to do is to let us even see the whole package, and then we can now be able to diagnose and see if it has anything to do with what Nigerians are actually facing.
All right. In the meantime, while the federal government has a lot of work to do, we're in a Akwa Ibom state and we have a government in place. Is there anything that Akwa Ibom state government can do or begin to do to, first of all, ensure that the food in Akwa Ibom is secure and accessible? If you have food security, a lot has been taken care of. Is there something that the Akwa Ibom state government can do to ameliorate this particular security or insecurity in food?
The immediate past administration of Governor Udo Emmanuel came up with the anti-open grazing bill and was later signed into law. Now that law, prohibits open grazing of cattle. Today you see cattle being grazed on farmlands. Farmers will just plant cassava, and then when they go in the night, in the morning, they come back and you will see the entire cassava, stem have been, destroyed by cattle. First thing the government should do is to enforce the law prohibiting open grazing. First, that will secure our farmlands. Then second is to look at the issue of agro farming, mechanized farming. You begin to engage with stakeholders. Thank God the government is trying to have a summit let's begin to discuss the Arise agenda and look at what he has in the area of agriculture. We want to see more being done. We want to see soft loans being given to actual farmers, not those who are politicians, not based on political sentiment or based on those who have affiliation to those who are in government, but the actual farmers be given soft loans, be given assistance, things like fertilizers should be given to them, and then government will have a way to monitor how they are making a process to achieving food sufficiency. And then those who are into fish farming, government should support them. Those who are into poultry farming, the feeds are expensive. Government should also assist them. There is so much to be done about it. So the government of the state has a lot to do. Let us see the government come up with their blueprint. They can be able to diagnose it and then discuss it, because there is need for the state government to also complement what the federal government is doing.
So when the governor came up with the then governorship candidate of the PDP, now governor, Pastor Umo Eno, when he came up with the Arise agenda and he said all that he said about agriculture, food security, when you interrogated that document, what was your impression of it? Was there a workable step-by-step plan to achieving food security on that plan?
I think the governor has a very good plan for the state. And the governor himself is coming from a private sector, and so he knows what the private sector is facing. He understands so much about the workings in the state. And so when I interrogated his Arise agenda with respect to agriculture, I am pleased. And that's why I still insist that there is need for him to have his team that can be able to interpret his agenda, because it's not enough to have a fantastic, blueprint on paper, but being able to interpret it on ground is the issue. So the governor having his team, putting up his team, coming, with a team that understands what the blueprint is seeking to implement is another thing. So we want to see it coming to be unfolded. That is why we are calling on him not to wait until the 60 days, as required by Constitution, but to unfold. Let us know who are his team members, and when they are being forwarded to the House of Assembly, they should be attached with their portfolio, so that the House members can screen them based on their expertise. That is what we can do to be able to get the state working. Now, having said this, I want to believe that the governor, has a sincere agenda that will add to what his predecessor has, so far done in the area of agriculture and road network. Because that the governor has said he was going to appoint a committee on climate change. Because when the CHRAN interface with members of the NIMS, we advocated that there is need for the governor to appoint a specialized committee to handle issue of climate change. He has come up to say he will put up a committee and appoint an essay to advise him on the issues of climate change. Let's hope that the governor is coming out with a lofty idea.
All right, one more question before I let you off the mic this lovely Wednesday evening. The governor today gave a directive to all local government chairmen to return to their local government areas to breed development, and also warned anyone who would want to take over the mantle of leadership at the local government level to ensure that he or she would live in the local government area to lead the people. What are your thoughts on this, considering the fact that the Gospel Akpabio administration had established security villages across all local government areas, and over time, local government chairmen and their officials of local government have refused to stay? That directive, is it a good one coming? Do you think or believe that it will be implemented to the latter?
I want to once again give the governor a thumbs up for that directive, and I want to see the bill being forwarded to the House of Assembly. Let a law be enacted that we have our council chairmen domiciled in their local government headquarters. We have, like you rightly mentioned, security villages being built by the former administration of Gospel Akpabio across the 31 local government areas. That village was supposed to accommodate the council chairmen, the security DPOs, the DSS officers of the local government areas, and all other heads of the local government councils, like the head of service. But in some local government councils, the place is just left open. It's left fallow. It has become like a criminal hideout. So I'm happy that the governor has come up to give that directive. But beyond giving directive, one thing must be placed on the notice of the governor, that local government system is dying in Akwa Ibom State. This issue of joint account has not helped the government at the local government level. The funds meant for local government councils should not be tampered with. It should be allowed for the council chairman to be able to use these funds to develop the areas. Now, why most of these chairmen avoid their council headquarters is because they lack funds. And people keep going to their homes. For example, my aged mom can't come to Uyo to see the governor. They can easily, walk down to the council headquarters and see the chairman.
Was that not the essence of leadership at the grassroots level?
That's the point. But when you don't have the fund, when the fund meant for the council is not given to the council, because of this issue of joint account, state local government joint account, because the government have been using section 162 sub 5 that that establish local government state joint account. When the money is released from the Abuja, the money for the local government is dumped into the joint account, and then they will now go to joint account meeting where you have the commissioner of finance, you have the accountant general, you have these people who are representing the government of the state. And when you go to that meeting and come out, what comes out there is not what actually reflects what the council is deserved. For instance, you could have a council that is entitled to 200 million that is given to him from the fact.
Yes.
But when upon coming out of the joint account in the state, the chairman can be given 10 million. At least, and at most, and you don't see them competing among themselves. So you hardly see the local government developing. So beyond the governor, Pastor Umo Eno, giving directive that the council chairman should live in their respective local government councils, the funds to be able to do projects should be released for the council chairman.
Thank you very much. To welcome Franklin Isong, the Director, Center for Human Rights and Accountability Network. People listening to us will think you're making an advocacy for or making an excuse for the local government chairman, but we get your point, and that was very clear. Thank you very much for coming on the XL News Hour tonight.
My pleasure.